Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday.
Some people just know there's a podcast about that.
Are you listening to a podcast?
Yeah, but it's about multitasking, which I'm trying to do.
So today we're going to do something a little different as far as our music selection.
In good hands.
I know I usually do K-Love, right? But you got to listen to this song, guys, right? Listen to it.
Give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven
That I've ever been.
and I don't wanna go home right now.
Mmm.
And all I could taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your light. And sooner or later it's over. I just don't wanna miss you tonight. And I
Don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. While everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
can't fight the tears
That ain't coming.
all the moment the truth in your life.
Mmm.
When everything feels like the movies.
Yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive.
And I don't want the world to see me.
'Cause I don't think that they'd understand. While everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. Hey! You guys. Beautiful.
And I don't want the world to see me.
'Cause I don't think that they'd understand. While everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. I just want you to know who I am. Yo. That's deep. Beautiful and deep. Hey guys. Today is Tuesday, September 26th. You guys, it's early. It's 12 o'clock. Yes, I'm supposed to be at work. I went into work today for a meeting and I came home. Got back in my PJs and I know it's looking real crazy, you guys. I got Mitch Mac PJs on right now, right? So I had on one set of PJs. I have different sets of PJs. I have my PJs for the summer, my PJs for the spring and fall, and then I have my PJs for the winter, right? And you know, summer is ending. We're moving into fall, right? So I still have all my summer stuff out that I need to like put away. and pull out my winter stuff. But today is kind of chilly, so I pulled out, like I had my fall, right? But it's not enough. I had to pull something winter out, that warm, soft material. You know what I mean? I be cold, guys. You guys don't know. I be cold. So this is something special I'm doing, right? Because you guys aren't used to getting a video this early, right? I just want to tell you guys, right? That song, right? The name of that song is Iris, and it's by Go-Go Dolls. Now, Go-Go is spelled G-O-O, right? G-O-O-G-O-O Dolls. So I don't think it's Go-Go, right? Go-Go Dolls. I think it's, I don't know how you pronounce it. Google Dolls. I don't know. But anyway, guys. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes people, right, with their music, right, the artist, right, he might have been singing to a particular person. Maybe it was like some kind of love song to that particular person, right? But I like it, the words, you know, I don't want the world to see me because I don't think that they'd understand. Well, everything is made to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. Like, I don't relate that as a love song to a particular person. It's so fitting for me. When you have a mental health condition, right? And you have those moments where you don't want the world to see you because you know they're not going to understand, right? You know, and then we have those moments in our lives, right? The words of the song, right? There's one phrase in the song that it says, sometimes the world can be like a movie. You bleed just to know you're alive. He know what he's talking about, right? And it applies. It applies. You know, and you guys, it just touched me so much, right? It gave me the words, right? Because sometimes we have these feelings, right? And we don't have the words for it, right? I like it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's deep. Anyway, guys. So I decided to do a morning show. Like, I'm home. And why not? And I know, like, my appearance, that representation stuff, like I told you guys from the beginning of my journey, you know, I'm going to show up. You know, I'm not going to be, you know, certain people, right? They have to present an image, right? Because in the social media world, right, to attract your audience, right, you have to give them something to relate to. And unfortunately, right, for a lot of people, right, it's the hair, the clothes, the makeup, the jewelry, the material things, you know. And while and why I do have those things, right, and I like to dress, and I like to, you know, but there are some days, I told you guys, you're gonna see me like this, you know. We need to see more of the real stuff on social media, and that's where I come in, right? So, like I said, I got up this morning, I got dressed, I ran into work, I had to do a meeting. After the meeting, I came home, took off my work clothes or whatever, my clothes, and put back on my PJs. I'm very comfy. It's a little chilly. So, yeah, I'm going to do this is going to be special, guys, this show that we're going to do. It's going to be special, right? Again, my name is Johnny B, advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness, tied to education, right? I am not a provider. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a counselor, okay? I am simply advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness, tied to education. I have a mental health condition. I've had it for decades. So I am well informed about the mental health aspect of my wellness, okay? Trial and error, experiences, going from the first signs and symptoms and not knowing what it was and struggling. I struggled. It was bad, right? And then we had to put in place the things that I always tell you guys: identify, acknowledge, address, right? So I went through years of suffering because, sometimes when something changes in us, right? The beginning, right? We don't really pay attention to it, right? And then as it grows, right, it starts affecting you. Like, it starts spilling out, it's showing, right? And when you become aware of it, right, you stop paying attention, right? And for me, like, I tried to like control it on my own. Like, I knew when the moments would come, I would feel it coming. I would feel it building up. I would tell myself, try to stay in control. Don't overreact. I would try to hold it, right? And it would come out explosive, right? And then after it was said and done, I had to look at the harm. The harm that I caused to the people around me. And then you go through those feelings, right? Because, for me, it got to the point where it was like, damn, I did it again. Like, what's wrong with me, right? I went through some time in that stage, guys, right? And then it got to the point where it's like, I started acknowledging that there was something, right? I started acknowledging, like, you can't control it. You go through feelings about it because, like, these things will happen and it's you, right? And you're looking at the people around you and how this thing affects people around you, those relationships, right? I started acknowledging there was some stuff going on. And then I got to the stage of addressing it. And even after addressing it, it took years. When I started my journey of seeking help, there was some evaluations they had to do. They recommended counseling. I did that for a while. Then it got to the point that they wanted to introduce meds. So now, right, remember you guys, I shared this with you, right? The difference between counselors and psychiatrists, right? Now, maybe now in this day and age, because mind you, I'm in my 50s, right? And the medical information, right, has transitioned so much from when I first started my journey, okay? So when I first started my journey, right, counselors could not prescribe meds. There may be some that can now, because in the workforce, right, and when you're like trying to educate yourself, right, I'm the type of person, I could do multiple things. And I always tell people it's good to have like more than one set of skills, right? You need to be able to do some other stuff. Like some people kind of stick to one career, all their time and energy is focused around that career path. They're getting the education to further their positions along the way. Like you're getting educated around it. You're practicing them skills. You're in them fields. You're growing your experiences, right? Because I've been there and I did that, right? And I told you guys, I used to be a medical transcriptionist for 6 years. Like I went to school for it. I financed it. I went to school to be a medical transcriptionist. And after all that schooling, right, I ended up in the field. I worked in that field for 6 years, right? And I told you guys way back when, right? When technology came out, right? And technology started like advancing and it started changing career paths, right? So they came out with this new technology that knocked medical transcriptionists right off the market. There was no longer no need for them. They had this technology that can do the things that they used to hire people to do, right? And for those who don't know, medical transcriptionists, it was a good field. You made good money, you got good jobs, it came with good benefits. Yeah. So like I tell people, right? Don't stop learning around one topic, right? You got to learn. You got to learn some things. You got to be able to do more than just one thing, right? So anyway, where I was going with that, I got to slow my brain, guys, because you know I went way past it, right? Where I was going with that, right? Oh my God, I totally lost it. I'm going to get it back. You guys know. Where was I going with that? I wish this thing was live so you guys could help me, right? I'm out here on my own, right? We're going to have to get back to that, guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes my brain, like I said, the information, it goes so fast that if I don't catch it, right? And then, oh, I was talking about the song, right? I don't want the world to see me because I don't think they'll understand, right? And I was talking about my journey through the identification, acknowledgement, and addressing the mental health concerns, right? So what I was telling you guys, right, is years ago when I first started my journey, right, counselors were simply there to have the sessions. It's part of the evaluation process. You know, they got to meet with you. They got to get to know you. You know, they have to interact with you. You know, they have to track, you know, some stuff, right? And when that process went further along, right, now they're ready to start treatment, right? So like I said, back then, counselors could not prescribe meds. So you went from counselor to psychiatrist because it's the psychiatrist that could prescribe the meds, right? And the thing where I got off track was I was trying to explain to you guys, like nowadays, you may have some counselors that are able to prescribe. They may not be, you know, under that psychiatrist category, right? But some people, like there's some things you can do in your career path, some extra things you can do. Like I said, when I worked in a doctor's office, right, I was able to fill multiple positions in that entity because I continued growing and I continued learning and I kept taking course after course, right? I wanted to be, like, the more skills you have, right, the more positions you can fill within an entity, right, makes you more valuable to the company. Okay, so that's the thing with counselors nowadays. Like I said, counselors may now be able to prescribe meds, but I'm in my 50s, guys. My mental health concerns started popping up in my 20s. Okay, so we're talking years ago where counselors did the sessions, the evaluations, reported the information back to the doctor, and then moved you along further. When they start talking about introducing meds, they move you to psychiatry. Psychiatry prescribed the meds. That information may have changed. Like I said, the medical information has transformed dramatically over the years, okay? So like I was saying, like even when I went on meds, it still took time, guys. It's a long journey, right? And now you're not only dealing with the fact that you have a mental health condition, now you have to read stuff, you got to research stuff. Like I said, there are things that you can do beyond meds to manage the symptoms, okay? For some people, like, they may be on multiple meds, right? Because sometimes maybe they put you on one med and it's working, right? But you're not quite there, so then they introduce another med, right? Me, myself, decided I didn't want to go that route. Like, I don't want to be on a bunch of meds. I just don't, you know? So I take Celexa. There was a time I was on the doses, like, first they started me off on like 20 milligram, and then they worked me up to 40 milligram. And then I felt like 40 milligram was too much because of the side effects. So then they reduced it back down to 20 milligram, right? So now I'm at that stable point, I'm stable, right? But it's still not enough. Like, there's some breakthrough symptoms, like there's some things, right? And this is why I said for some of us, right, you have to educate yourself and do your research around things that you can do to manage your symptoms beyond medication, right? Because my meds take me from here to here, right? And I still have some stuff, right, going on, right? So, and I don't want to be on too many meds or too high of a dose of a med because of the side effects. And now, you not only are managing the symptoms of your mental health, you now have to manage the symptoms of the side effects. It's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, there are, there's other things, you guys, that you can do to manage your symptoms beyond meds, okay? Like I said, I'm just here to guide you guys, give you some tips, give you some information, share my experience, the information I have, my journey. Again, I am not a provider. I am not a counselor. I am not a psychiatrist, okay? I am simply advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness, tied to education, because the education piece, right, is so important, guys, because, like I said, when you get diagnosed, when you get your diagnosis, right, there's going to be some words. There's going to be some words. There's going to be some things you don't know. You might think you know, but we don't like to go off what we think we know. Like, we got to read some stuff. We got to do some research. You cannot play when it comes to your mental health, okay? It's a very serious thing, dealing with that brain, right? You don't want to cause more injury to it. You want to treat it. You want to give the brain what it needs, right? But you don't want to cause more harm trying to fix the harm that's already there, okay? So that's why I said education is so important, guys. So important. So, right, with that song that I was playing, right? I don't want the world to see me. I don't think they'll understand, right? I think in our sessions, I told you guys about how people see people with mental health conditions, how people respond to people with mental health conditions, for people who, like our loved ones, right? Our caretakers, our loved ones, our children, our parents, aunties, uncles, cousins, siblings, right? They see stuff happening to you and they don't know what's going on with you, right? And it's scary for them, right? It's scary for them. I mean, it's scary for us because we're trying to figure it all out, right? Imagine how they feel watching us go through this, right? And it's not just the symptoms of the mental health condition, right? It's the effects that it causes, the harm, like, not being able to maintain a job. I shared with you guys, like, way back then, right? And it still happens. Like, I lose jobs because of my mental health condition. It's just back then it happened more frequently, right? But now that I've come into identification, acknowledging, and addressing, right? I'm going to tell you, before, when I would lose jobs, right, it would crush me. It would crush my soul because I couldn't understand, right? There was some key factors I was missing, like, why does this keep happening to me, right? And even after you have identified, acknowledged, and addressed, right? Like, you're on treatment, right? It's going to take time. You're still going to have those traumatic experiences that your mental health condition causes, right? You're still going to go through some stuff, right? It takes time. And then not only are you now dealing with the mental health condition, maybe side effects from the treatment, the effects that it causes in your life as far as losing jobs or, not being able to connect with people, stuff happens. And some of this stuff is probably not even on you. It could be on them, but you're trying to, work in a society with other people and you're trying to interact and it's a lot when you're dealing with multiple people and multiple personalities. And like I said, you may not be the only one that have a mental health condition. Maybe you're working with some people who got some stuff going on that they haven't identified, acknowledged, or addressed. Or maybe they don't even know. Maybe they're in denial. We don't know, right? It's a lot going on, right? So now, again, you're dealing with the mental health aspect of it, right? The causes, the things that happen, right? You're dealing with the effects of the medication, right? You're dealing with those outside factors like working, not just obtaining a job, but keeping a job. You're dealing with the public in your work fields, in your educational institutions. You're going to school. You're trying to learn some things. How about the feelings behind it all? You guys, I went through some feelings. I went through some feelings like, when you have a mental health condition, you got to work harder than other people. It don't come that easy to us. Some people can just get a job and go on their way. Some people can just take some courses in advance, right? I mean, you're taking the courses because you want to be able to land those better positions, right? But along the way, some things happen. Some things happen and you have the education, you have the certificates, right? You can land a position, right? But now you're in them positions and you're dealing with mental health concerns and issues and side effects from meds and now you're in a professional setting, right? You got to walk in there every day with a smile on your face. Those things that you hide, they can't display themselves or reveal themselves in a work environment, in a professional environment, right? You got to avoid some triggers. There's some work. People don't know how difficult it is for people with mental health conditions, right? And on top of all that, right, you got people looking at you, judging you, talking, and they don't even know what's going on. They don't even know what's going on. And now you got to deal with the feelings that all that stuff brings to you. Like, I'm already injured. I'm already delicate, right? This is me advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education, right? Because not only am I trying to guide the people that may be having some signs and symptoms of a mental health concern, right? But I'm also trying to educate those outside entities that have no idea. Like maybe they have a loved one, right, that they care for, maybe a child or, a sibling. They're watching, some mental health stuff through someone that's close to them, right? And they have that information. They know what it's like to be that person on the outside looking in and watching this stuff, right? But they don't really know. They don't really know what goes on in the mind of a mental health patient, right? It's tough, guys. It's tough. I've been doing this, like I said, for a long time. I'm in my mid-50s. So anyway, I actually did write a script, guys. And I think I've already touched on some of the stuff in my script. Like I said, my higher power, right? He brings me to that door, right? Even though I've prepared and organized and broke down without even looking, my higher power. He's moving. He's moving. You know, I'm trying to keep up with him. He don't wait. He does not wait. So I'm just going to we're gonna go by script, what I prepared for you guys, right? Let's get through some of this stuff. We gotta go, right? Because it's a lot. It's a lot. So anyway, I didn't even ask, right? I know this isn't live and it's pre-recorded, but I do have manners, right? How are you guys doing today? How you guys like feeling today? You know, I hope everybody is in good spirit. If you're here watching me, welcome. And thank you. Thank you for showing up, okay? Like I said, I'm here. Leave me messages. I do check my messages. Yeah, I just wanted to, you know, make that connection with you guys. You know, my manners, right? You know, you got to be present with people, right? You can't just go, you know. You got to slow it down, right? All right, guys. Here we go, right? So, what I prepared, right? It says, how is everyone doing on this rainy Tuesday? Some of you may be at work or at your place of business. Some of us may be home, out of work, due to some health concerns, whether it's physical or mental well-being. You know, we're home tending to our well-being, taking care of our minds and our bodies as we should. Whether we are in our younger years, dealing with some health concerns. Maybe you are an adult, home, caring for a child or another loved one that may have some health concerns. And for some of us, like me, we are in our midlife, you know, those golden years, right? We lived for decades now, right? We have worked our whole lives. And depending, right, on the line of work that you do, examples, construction workers, right? Correction officers working in those institutions, right? Law enforcement, those police officers, right? These are just examples, guys, okay? In other words, people in manual labor jobs, right? Where due to your line of work, you might have sustained some physical injuries along the way, right? So throughout your work career, depending on what you do, if you're in those manual labor jobs, right, you sustained some injuries along the way in your younger years, right? And now that you're older in life, you done bounce back from those injuries, right? But now that you have reached the middle part of your life, right? You're now starting to feel the long-term effects from those injuries that you've sustained throughout your life. We're in our 50s now, right? That stuff catches up to us. We might have bounced back from it way back when, right? But after years of those injuries, right? In your 50s, you start to feel that stuff. You start to slow down. You get aches and pains. You be like, what is going on, right? I find it funny, right? How society, right, prepares us when we're young, right? To go out into the work world, right? And spend our whole young years, right? In service fields that injure us physically, right? And then when we get into our golden years, right? Where you're just now starting to see the fruits of your labor, right? All those years that you invested into working and career paths, and you out there doing the thing, right? And now you're in your midlife years, right? You're starting to see the fruits of your labor. You've mastered your skill, right? You're feeling more confident in what you're doing in life, right? Your life is now starting to settle, right? It's starting to settle. It's been a long journey. A long journey of trial and error, right? Being knocked down and getting back up. Now, to only stop feeling the wounds, those battle scars from the blows that you've had in life, right? To now being in so much pain physically, right? Not to mention mentally, right? The effects of all those years on this earth, right? Living in society where it's all about the money. Gotta get the money, gotta get the money, gotta get the money. You got rent to pay, you need shelter. You gotta eat. You gotta pay that light and gas bill, right? You work hard. You work hard. Not to just get the job, but to maintain the job, right? And sometimes things happen. You get fired. You got to start all over again. Right? So we're talking of years. Years of doing that stuff, right? Now you're in your golden years. You're in your golden years, right? That stuff didn't just affect you physically, right? It's been years, guys. And even though, right, we get knocked down, we get back up, you keep going, right? Doesn't mean it didn't affect. It didn't affect, right? Because we might put some stuff away, but eventually, right, that stuff comes out. It comes out. And this is just your work life. This is just your work life, right? How about all those years, right? And everything you went through in your personal life. Things like car accidents, right? You're young. You're driving. Accidents happen, right? And when you're in a car accident, right? Not only does it cause injury to you physically, right? What about all the mental health stuff that comes with it, right? You're in a car accident. You still got to get to work every day. Some of us may have insurance. Some of us may not have insurance. Cause and effect, right? Cause and effect, right? Maybe you are struggling with employment as far as obtaining work, as far as maintaining work, and you're struggling in your finances, but you need that car. You gotta go. You gotta get out there and find them jobs. You gotta get to work, right? So you take a chance. I'm not saying for me. I'm just saying I'm talking real stuff, guys. I told you I talk about the stuff people don't talk about. It's real. It's out there. I've been hit by somebody that had no insurance. Been there, did that, right? So anyway, the traumatic effects mentally of the circumstances, right? You're struggling in your finances. You're driving around with no insurance. You get into a car accident. Now you're stressed. You're stressed. And I'm not just talking about the people that don't have insurance, okay? I'm just talking about it because it is a reality, right? Because for a lot of us that do have insurance, like I know for me, like if I get into a car accident, you know, and I sustain some physical injury, right? It's going to affect you mentally. I'm stressed. We're talking days out of work now because I'm physically injured and I need to attend to my physical health. We're talking about the car needs to now go into mechanics to get fixed. It's gonna cost some finances, even if you have full coverage. I have full coverage, guys, but there's still that deductible, right? Unexpected things that interrupt your life, right? Whether you have a job or not, right? I'm gonna speak for me. Like when I have a job, right, and I have vacation time, I have sick time, right? Something happens, I'm out of work. Got to use that vacation time. Got to use that sick time to cover them days out of work, right? You go through your vacation time, you go through your sick time, you know, your physical injuries have healed, you go back to work. Now you got to start all over again, building that vacation time and that sick time, right? Like most of the time I use my vacation time and my sick time, right? I'm not even taking a vacation. I'm not traveling. I don't have money to travel. What am I take a vacation for? To sit home and do nothing? And sometimes I do now. Like I didn't take a vacation for years, guys, because it's just so much, right? And then later on in the years, like I had to learn to use vacation time. I needed to like take a step back and give my mental state of mind a rest, right? Because just like we get physically tired, some of us get emotionally tired, spiritually tired. It's a lot out there, right? We're not even going to go deep into this section, but I'm going to touch on some things, okay? And the reason why is because they could be key factors for some people, right? We're talking about mental health awareness, right? What about people like me? I'm going to put me in that category, okay? Who come from those neighborhoods, right? That are so dysfunctional and toxic, right? You experienced some things, right? You made it through some stuff. You came out of some stuff, right? Things that caused you to react to those physical altercations, right? We can get into that stuff later, guys. And again, I might have to open myself up for some one-on-one sessions, okay? Again, I'm talking basic stuff. We don't even really get deep in there because, you know, social media, right? Physical altercations, right? That may have injured you, whether physically or mentally. Those traumatic events that you experienced along the way, right? Now we are in our golden years, right? Too young to retire. Not quite ready to call it quits. But you're tired, right? You're tired. Physically, mentally. And you're ready to just like sit down somewhere and just take a breath, right? Just rest for 1 minute, right? But you can't, because you're not there yet, right? There's still things that we still have to do to ensure that retirement income. You still got rent and bills to pay. You need medical and dental coverage. You know, those perks of those good jobs, right? And the thing with that, right? You need that medical and dental coverage more than ever. Because now you're in your so-called golden years, right? Your teeth, your body, your mentality. They've been with you through all them years, through all that stuff, right? The wear and tear. Physically and mentally, right? You get in your golden years, they need more attention than ever. Since I turned 50, I feel like I go to more doctor's appointments in probably like a year's time than I've been my entire young adult life. And I'm not saying I didn't keep up with my physical and mental health back then, right? But once you turn 50, I'd be like, sometimes they'll call me to confirm an appointment, and I'd be like, an appointment for what? Yeah. An appointment for what? Like, when did I make this appointment? What's going on? You know something I don't know? And with all these things going on, right? Society, right? Still expects you to show up with a smile on your face, right? Look intact on the outside, right? And have a positive attitude on the inside. And I don't know how anyone else feels about this, right? So this is just for me, right? The expectations and demands of this world that we live in, right, is so outrageous. So outrageous. Sometimes even seeming impossible to keep up with, right? You're in your 50s. It's been a long journey. You've been through some stuff. You're tired. You're tired. But you're not even close to retirement age, right? There's still some things you got to do, right? You got to keep up. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep going. No time to sit down. No time to rest. I used to tell people I'll rest when I'm dead. Yeah. I'll rest when I'm dead. I tell you guys, I have a weird sense of humor. My perspective on things. I've been through some stuff. I've had to readjust my perspective on things, right? People, right, whether they know this or not, right, they don't say these things out loud, right? The human body was not meant to withstand this amount of pressure. This life we live in, right? How about, right? How society views you, right? When they start to see you fall behind or break. The whispers, the talks, the judgments, as if you are the only one who go through these things. And you know, people, right? Again, how they view mental health diseases, right? I've had people tell me, oh, don't be sad. Oh, you can't hold on to that stuff. You need to let it go. I mean, I have to slow my brain down. I know what I want to say. I just got to get there, right? For people, right, who have some mental health condition, right, so severe, right, that it shows, right? They have these behaviors, they have these patterns. You watch them go around and around and around and around and around and around in a circle, right? They never go this way, they never go, it's just around and around and around, right? Never getting off the path, never going nowhere else. They just stuck, right? And they think the world can't see, right? The world don't know, right? Those things we tend to hide, right? The things that embarrass us, that cause us shame, that we may feel guilty about, right? We tend to hide that stuff, right? And we stuff it and we stuff it and we stuff it, but we're running off of it, right? We're running off of it and people can see. It shows, right? But they're either in denial, they can't see it, they think this is normal, they're not crazy, you're the crazy one. People who have not identified, acknowledged, or addressed, right? The ones who suffer in silence, or they think it's in silence, but they don't know. We see it, right? Everybody's journey is different, right? You have people who come from, quote unquote, right, good homes, decent parents with some decent parenting skills, kind of healthy mentally and physically, right? Live in them upper scale neighborhoods. And I'm not saying stuff don't go on in them upper scale neighborhoods, right? Stuff goes on there. Not as much stuff or as frequent as our neighborhoods, right? Because we don't care. We just let it all hang out, right? Anyway. So like I said, there are people, you know, they come from quote-unquote good homes, decent parents, live in decent neighborhoods. They have a well-in-place support system. They have these support systems in place, right? Where their life is, the path is kind of laid out for them. Like they can see clear ahead and there's not as many, you know, side tracks and distractions, and it's not all that stuff going on. There's a clear path for them, right? And they have some barriers put in place to protect them, right? Because, you know, like I said, people tend to hang with like-minded people, right? So you have people over here that's doing the damn thing, right? And you have people over here that they don't know. They don't know, right? Or maybe they know and they're trying to get there, right? But they got some mental health issues. They got some traumatic stuff that they haven't identified, acknowledged, or addressed, right? And they can't figure out how to get from here to there, right? Because they're stuck, right? They're stuck, right? Then you have people like me who come from the lower aspect of things. That's what I like to call it, right? Toxic neighborhoods, toxic family members, places that have no protective barriers in place, right, to keep you from going off the path, right? You can't focus on the stuff, right? You got to keep your eye on the goal, right? How about this, right? When I tell you how people respond, right, to people with mental health conditions, right? How the world views us, right? I've had people give me examples, like when I talk about my life and the stuff that I've been through, right? Even though I have overcome some things, right? I'm still going. I'm still trying. I'm still trying to get them jobs. I'm still trying to maintain them jobs. People would say to me, well, look at Oprah. She did it. Look at Viola Davis. The list goes on, right? They compare you, right? They compare you as if you don't feel bad enough about yourself, right? You comparing me to Oprah? You're comparing me to Viola Davis, right? Again, putting you in a category, right, of judgment, comparison, how they think you should be, right? And they're relentless, right? The comments, the thoughts, the attitude, right? They're relentless, showing no mercy, no peace. People can be brutal. No one stops to see you as an individual. They like to group you in certain categories, compare you to others, right? When I do this, right, it's because I'm thinking some stuff, right? But I do have manners. You know, I do have empathy. You know, people don't realize, right, when you're battered, when you're bruised, when you've been through some things, you know, stuff, right? For some of us, right, we tend to treat people how we feel about ourselves, right? That ugly stuff, right? But for some of us, right, that wished that somebody would extend mercy to them, right? That wished that somebody would have been more delicate with them, right? We tend to extend that. You know, you don't want to do what the world has done to you, right? You want to do better. You want to treat people better. You want to show people love. You want to show people respect. You want them to keep their dignity, right? whether or not they respect you. How about that? Whether or not they care about your dignity, right? I have people that, I gotta be careful how I say this, okay? When trying to communicate with people, right? Because I understand a lot of things, right? As far as communication skills, listening, transfer of information, having to remove yourself from the feelings, right? From the feelings, because sometimes you gotta, you're not there yet. You don't understand the content. You don't want to respond inappropriate. Like, there's so much pressure, right? And you're dealing with somebody who's not on your level, right? They're talking to you any kind of way. They're pointing the finger at you like it's all you. It's all you, right? And still you're trying to, because you have the knowledge, right? You know what's going on. You're paying attention. You're removing the feelings from what's going on, from the feelings that's attached to the stuff that's happening right now, right? But you're dealing with someone who may not even have this information, right? You're trying to contain yourself. You're trying to not get triggered. There's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, right? Meanwhile, this person is popping off, right? And places where you still got to be professional, right? And again, I'm thinking some stuff is going through my head, right? But I can't say those things, right? This is live. It's not live, but it's social media. I have to remember what I stand for, what I represent. Mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education, right? I have family members, right? They can't keep a job. They can't contain themselves. They haven't done the work. There are different levels of education levels involved. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And then you got somebody in your face. They talking, they running their mouth, they acting out, right? And in some situations, people only see what they want to see, right? Because they're witnesses, right? But they're not holding that person accountable for popping off on you, right? It's your fault. You said something. You did something, right? And I'm the type of person, right? I use discernment, right? If I'm wrong, I'm going to say I'm wrong. Why am I going to stand there and make myself look stupid over something I know I did, right? If I'm wrong, I'm going to say I'm wrong. I have to hold myself accountable, right? Because if I don't, right, there's some things that can come up that will have me off my game, right? You got to be aware of your thoughts, your actions, everything around you, right? But then you have these other people looking at you, right? Forming their own opinions, their own judgments. They don't know. They don't care to know. They don't care to know, right? After all that is said and done, right, guys? This is where I'm going to take you. Your higher power sees you. Your higher power knows you. Inside and out. Good, bad, and indifferent, right? Your higher power got you. They got you. You know, as long as you are identifying, acknowledge, and addressing not just your mental health status, right? There's some other stuff we have to work on, right? Because some people, right, like I said, example, right? Not only did I go to all kind of schools and institutions, learning institutions, you know, having to go to counseling and therapy to address my mental health issues, having to, you know, learn skills, techniques, you know, how to manage all the mental health stuff, the side effects from the meds. You guys, it's a lot, right? And what people don't know, right? Like I told you guys, right? I'm a recovering addict. I have 18 years clean, right? I go to a program, right? And they gave us some tools. Going, it's not just about going to meetings, right? We have the basic textbook. We have the green and gold book. There's a step and work guide. We're writing with each other, like we're pairing up in sponsorship. We're reading some stuff. We're going over some stuff. We're writing. We're doing the work. We're applying it. We're applying it because it's detrimental to your health, your survival, right? You need that job. You need that income. You gotta present yourself a certain way. You have to have some what's the word I want to use? Discipline. And people from my neighborhoods, right, they can tell you, right? Because when you live in those neighborhoods, right, and God put this thing inside of you, right, where you can see some things and you know what's going on and you understand some things, right? You're able to use discernment, right? I didn't even really fit in them neighborhoods because I couldn't understand the mentality. I couldn't understand why. I couldn't understand what was going on. I needed to be safe. So I'm like them in a lot of ways, right? But in a lot of ways, I'm not. I'm not. And I'm not judging or putting anyone down, right? I'm talking about the gift that God gave me. The gift, right? The gift of discernment. The gift of knowledge. Some people, right, like I said, right, they say they believe in a higher power, right, but they don't practice it. They don't research it. They don't read the tools. When we talk about the gifts, right, of all that stuff that you've been through, right? That stuff that's meant to break you, right? Knock you down, right? Have you you're in a ring, right? And you're throwing punches and you're taking punches, right? And I'm not talking about physical fighting, right? Because I'm gonna tell you, right, about these professional people, like they like to judge us, right? They don't. There's some things within us they don't quite understand, like where we come from, right? When I talk about fighting, I'm not talking about physical fighting. I've learned other ways to fight, right? We learn other ways to fight in the professional world, right? We go get a lawyer. We know other ways to fight, right? Using our skills, using our gifts, right? So because of all those battles, right, that we people in our 50 have gone through and experienced, right? When you talk about the gifts, right? All that crap you've been through, right? You guys got some gifts out of that stuff. I told you, there's good and bad in everything, right? And all information is good information, right? You guys got the experience. You got the knowledge. You got the strength, right? These are your gifts. Open your gifts, people. Open your gifts. We may lose battles, right? I've lost a lot of battles, right? But I'm still in the fight. The war ain't over yet, right? It ain't over. Some people, right? They have school knowledge, right? Textbooks, right? Some people have world knowledge, right? They didn't spend too much time in them educational institutions, right? They've been in the streets, right? They've been in the streets, right? I like to call that world knowledge because there are lessons you had to learn to survive them streets, right? How about when your higher power gives you both? More gifts. More gifts. We're about to end this, guys. We're getting there. When I tell you God put this thing in me, and I know I don't like to use the word God because I don't like to, frighten people who may believe in Allah, those other forms of worship. Maybe some people are, battling some things with their higher power. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to put it together. They may have a different perspective. So I like to be very careful when I say certain words because I don't want to just help those who have the same beliefs as I do, right? I want everybody to get it. I want everybody to get it. I want to be able to, advise and guide people in the aspect of mental health awareness, mental health wellness, tied to education, no matter what you believe in, no matter what you practice, right? This is some life-changing stuff. So guys, in tonight's video, because this is a bonus video you guys are getting right now, okay? I'm still gonna do tonight's show, right? And I have some big news to tell you guys. I have some good stuff to tell you guys, right? But the thing is, right? I have to prepare myself for that, okay? I have to process some thoughts. I have to get really close to my higher power, so that I can get instructions from him on how to go about this, okay? Because again, you don't want to injure people while you're trying to heal, okay? So I need to do some prep work around that subject, okay? So I'm going to give you guys some big news tonight. I hope you guys come back, right? Also, I'm going to be moving some things around. I know my sessions right now tend to be kind of random. They tend to run kind of late. I want to be able to give some thought and get some things in order to kind of make this happen, right? So I want to be able to have a set time where it's not too late, where you guys are getting the information late. I think that kind of does work though, because people have busy schedules. We're out there, we're working, we're managing the children, You know, we're caring for some maybe elderly parents. Like, there's a lot going on during the day, right? So I think it kind of works to do it late after the day is done, and you guys are starting to wind down, and this is your time. This is your time. This is that me time. Like, you know, we're talking through some stuff. We're working through some stuff. We're taking notes. I'm giving you guys information. I don't know. I think this time kind of does work, right? I'm going to have to think more on that, right? I'm going to have to think more on that, because I don't just want the service to be available. I want it to be available at a time that's convenient for the vast majority, okay? We're talking the vast majority of people that watch my videos, because like I said, a lot of us may need the help, but needing it and wanting it is two different things, right? I mean, I hope to help many, but I'll take what I can get, right? And again, planting the seed. Like, you know, you guys can take this information, this knowledge, and you can use it in your lives, right? And like I said, these shows, right, that I do, right, they take time to prepare. You know, you see, I have to write stuff down. I have to organize stuff. I have to be in tune with my higher power, where he's giving me instruction and guidance, and, you know, I have to be spiritually fit, right? I have to be in a healthy place, right? If I'm going to give you guys healthy information, I myself have to be in a healthy place, right? Well, guys, we're done. I hope that I was able to give you guys information on the levels, the different levels and platforms that we're on. I hope I was able to inspire some people. I hope that you guys got a good message. You got some good information. You were able to identify. You were able to touch on some stuff that might be close to your heart. Yeah. So I hope that you guys will please stay tuned, right? And come back tonight for this news that I have to give to you. And I'm telling you guys, it's big. It's big. It's good. Mental health awareness, mental health wellness, tied to education. Okay? I'm closing out, but I just want to make sure that I touched on all those key points, the key aspects, okay? So, you guys, I have to write stuff down. So even though I'm reading from script, right? I've already had the thought. It's already touched me. I've already been through the emotional part of it, the feelings behind it. But I had to write it because sometimes it comes and it goes. It comes and it goes, and it'll go so fast. It's like I didn't catch it, right? So I have to write stuff down while I'm in the moment to catch the moment, okay? So I am going by script, but you guys, I did tell you, please stay tuned and continue to follow my journey, advocating for mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education. This journey has touched my heart. As you know, I do have a mental health condition that I have to manage, and as we all know, it is not easy, but we can do it, and you can have healthy, meaningful, successful lives. Okay? It is possible, okay? We may not do it well in the eyes of others, right? Some people who have not themselves, right? They've not experienced it for themselves. They may have loved ones or, children they're providing for and they're caring for. And I'm not saying that that is not traumatic in itself. We are talking about people who have the mental health illness, okay? I had to slow my brain down, guys. So, like I said, this road to mental health awareness, mental health wellness, it's a lot. It's a long journey. Like I said, I'm in my 50s. I've been doing this since my 20s. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I don't know. I'm just weird like that, right? And people will look at that and think it's offensive. Yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, why are you laughing?" I don't know. I'm weird like that. I don't know. Maybe it's like sometimes I have a nervous laugh, right? When people are like, and I don't want to get triggered because I'm going to tell you, right? When I get triggered, I'm crying. I'm bawling my eyes out and it doesn't look good. Like you don't want to be sitting in front of people uncontrollably crying because you can't manage the emotions that's tied to the circumstances, right? So I have this thing where I'll start laughing. I don't know which is better, the crying or the laughing. You guys. So anyway, we're done. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. I hope you will come back often. Share the information. Let people know where to go, where they can tune into, to get the information that they need. Again, identification, right? Who we get our information from. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there on the same path that I'm on, right? Trying to advocate for mental health awareness, mental health wellness tied to education, right? But it's all about who we relate to, too. Because sometimes, right, depending on the messenger, right? Some people can't receive the message because of the messenger, right? So I'm just an option, guys. And like I said, I touch on that stuff because it's part of my story. I come from those neighborhoods. I worked hard, right? This is where my higher power has me. And I never wanted to do this. I never wanted to go here, right? And I'm grateful for this platform because sometimes, right, I will be in certain situations or certain areas where my higher power is like pushing me, to speak and to do some things, right? But I get nervous because when you're actually out there in the community with people, right, that has these mental health conditions going on, that are battling the disease of addiction, the emotions, they think like you're calling them stupid. They think you're judging them. People don't realize that sometimes people are giving you information in a loving and caring way. We're not judging you. I used to be you, right? So I like doing it this way, right? So that I can get in there to the people, right? That maybe they're interested, in it, right? And they want to do it behind closed doors because they're embarrassed. They're ashamed. They got some stuff they don't want the world to see, right? Because sometimes the world doesn't understand. Remember the song I played for you guys? Go, Go Dolls, Iris? And I don't want the world to see me because I don't think that they understand. I've been there, right? And I was stuck for a long time. That's why I like this option. I can kind of like get in there. I'm in my home. I'm safe. Sometimes I go to places, right? And there's programs where they want you to share. They want you to talk, right? But you got to stay silent because right? Some people don't like to hear the truth. They get bumped into feelings, right? Especially them people from the neighborhoods where I come from, right? They'll do some things to you. And I have to use discernment on, the thing with, right, the gift that God gave me, right, why it took me so long to get here, right, is because, right, I had to use discernment, right? Like when you get your gift, right, you get it, it's new, you're trying to practice using it, you're making mistakes, you're causing harm, you have to learn how to use the tool and when to use the tool, right? There has to be some safety measures in place for you, right? So I thank God for him opening this door, giving me a pathway to let him use me in the way that he wants to use me, but still keeping me safe from harm's way, guys. You guys better get in touch with your gifts and learn to use it. Play with it. Play with it until you can, I'm never going to be there, right? But you get to some point, after you start using your skills, right? You gotta use them. You're going to make mistakes along the way, trial and error. Like you got to figure out how to use the gift that God gave you, right? You got to play with it. You got to work with it. You got to put it to use, right? Anyway, guys, I hope you'll come back. Please hit the subscribe button. Please share the information, those programs that people are in. Been there, did that. Sure, you guys got a laptop. You run groups. There's some women in need. There's some men in need. Get the word out there. I'm here. About to go enjoy a few hours of my day, guys, and prepare for tonight's show. I hope you guys come back. Bye.